But I would like to go back to the slide again, and I'm going to show you. Yeah, as I was telling you, this word here, the number 2 in there, we have these but the sounds car, car. American, we will highlight the letter R, and British, you're not gonna highlight the letter R. You're gonna say car, And the last one, which is like, look, it's easier when you pronounce the word house. So, house. It's a diphthong song as well. House. It's important to know that we have some references. The references you have to use this, basically, as you can see here at the bottom of the page, it's basically the symbols used here are part of the International Phonetic Alphabet. This is important to know, the IPA, because this is not really something you say like, oh, yeah, where did you get that? It wasn't, from my mind or something like that. No. We are basically using this based on some references, and you have a system, and this is the way we'll be using here, the IPA, okay? That's it. Can I see the next one, please? Yeah. Now we are going to just work on properly, and I really put this slide here basically based on the way I teach my kids, yeah? Normally, I always say to them, I show like some examples of a short A of words. We start with words. But Fabio, I have a question. I'm sorry. I'm going to just, explain something already. We start with a word like B-A-T. They say like bat. C-A-N. I don't say it. Actually, I ask them to read. I always say that, those words are made of a short A. And then they read. And how do they read? As I told you before, they know how to speak and they know how to understand. I can understand and speak English for sure. But I ask them like, can you read the first word? They go like, okay, Mr. Fabio. They go like, okay. Sometimes I can hear them like, p, p, p. But every time they see a vowel, they always ask me the same question. Mr. Fabio, is it a short or long A? I always have to say short. And then they go like, b, 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 t, bat. They read, b, b, bat. Then they go like C-A-N. I ask them to spell the word. I know that they know the alphabet, but I make sure that they're going to just make the difference between the letters and the sounds. Then they go like, can. Then jam, mat. So they go like sad. But then you can say, Fabio, you put some example down there. Like, Dad likes bats. Why do you put like, if you want, small letters? As you can see here, I put it D-A-D, but D, I start D for dad with a small letter. Why? Because actually, in the beginning, from the very, very, very beginning, kids, they don't know the capital letters. They don't know. If you put like D capital letters, they don't know, or sometimes they go like a big letter. They're like saying, Mr. Fabio, is it a small letter, big letter? So in the beginning, and that's something important, I made sure that I want to start from the beginning with you all. I wrote it like I do write to my son. To my kids, my students. I put the letter D like small letter. Because if you put D like capital letters, they don't know. It's true. So I need to show like this. That's why I put like this. And I ask them to read a sentence such as, Dad likes bats. What's the technique behind this? We're trying to work on rhymes. Like, Dad, bat. Dad, apples. Because this is how we can learn. We associate the sound. This is one way this is a good technique because you have seamless sound like this, and then it makes easier for you to memorize the word afterwards when you read for the second time. So you have like this, okay, what's the first word? They go like dad, dad, and then they go and they again see it. And every time they see a word similar to that, they're going to have this sound. Again, it's how kids learn. Kids learn like this. I know that you can be familiar with the words that I put it there. But again, I would like to remind you of, it's something that we explain to you, but I would like to call your attention that you're going to learn how to read a new word for the first time based on this explanation, because you're going to get the sounds of it. So this is the sounds of the letters. So, and that's why I am really calling your attention to this, okay? I know that you can say dad, you know how to spell that, dad likes bats. But there is also something else that I would like to call your attention to. We do explain to kids, like they know how to speak, as I said. But we show that they say that likes. When you put like that likes bats, you are not teaching kids basically like what I was saying before, like individual words. It's not like isolated words. No, you say bat, you put a sentence with a similar sound that rhymes. The first word rhymes with the last ones. It goes like that likes bats, that likes bats, that likes apple. So there is a simple present there. They see that, like, but they don't know the rules sometimes. If you ask a kid who can speak English and say like, why are you saying that likes bats, that likes apples? Why you put the letter S at the end? Do you know what their answer is? Do you know what their answers are? They go like this. They don't know. They simply repeat the sentence the way they hear and the way they're going to read. But sometimes the rule that I explain to the other students, they don't know. Oh, you should add the letter S at the end of the verb for the third person affirmative sentences. We have to do that. So they don't know that. It's true. So they go by ear, but they learn and they say it. Oh, she likes that. But they don't know the rule. They don't know the rule. That's what I'm saying. So you learn with your ears. I'm not going to say that you can only learn with your ears. You learn with your ears. You learn with your eyes. But mainly, really make the association with our mother tongue. We spend maybe years listening before speaking, right? Yeah, a lot, all the time. And every time you listen, automatically you are going to reproduce the sound. Guys, I always give the example of kids. But let's think of someone who has never been to school or has never been to a college or university. They don't know even how to write their names. They don't know. But my question is, can they speak Portuguese? They can. You can go. They can speak like not in a formal way. They don't know a lot of grammar rules. And even us, we know a lot of grammar rules in Portuguese. We make a lot of mistakes. They make a lot of mistakes, but they make themselves understood. You go to talk to someone who has never studied at school, never, ever. But they speak Portuguese. They understand Portuguese. They have their own way of pronouncing some words. They say ocho instead of oito or something like that. But you know what I'm saying? And this is something that you have to keep in mind. But my question is, how could those people learn the language? They don't know what adjectives, nouns, adverbs are. They don't. They basically listen and repeat and reproduce what they copied, what they learned, like what they listened and they learned. That's the idea. So we need to know, and this is one thing, and I'm going to say we need, but it's actually you need to know that you are going to improve your English with your ears, basically, a lot. And that is one very important insight. I know that I'm explaining here pronunciation and how kids learn how to read, this kind of stuff, but keep one thing in mind. People say, Fábio, why you were against to put subtitles on a movie or a series? I have been speaking here. Of course, you're going to have the subtitles. You can read it afterwards. It's going to be easier for you. But in a real life, a real example, if you travel abroad and you talk to native speakers, are you going to have the chance to pause, to check the meaning of some words? You're going to read the subtitles? So you got to challenge yourself. You got to challenge yourself. The idea is that you have to challenge yourself. Kids speak, understand. They don't read subtitles. They just listen and understand. That's the idea. Of course, you can do some exercise based on reading subtitles, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not saying that you cannot do that. There is nothing, there is no one way to do things. No. I'm not like a radical person saying, oh, that's the only way. No. If you get like a 5 plus 5 is 10. 9 plus 1 is 10. 2 times 5 is 10. 7 plus 3 is 10. How many ways you have to reach 10? 10 is the perfect number. I say maximum. How many ways you have? A lot of ways. But I think we should find one way, but let's think logically. This is really really logical. We learn basic languages with ears for a long time. We have been doing that. Or in the past, when you did not have any grammar, any explanation, long ago, people could not speak a language. Of course they could. That's the point. And you need to understand. You got to do a lot of listening exercise all the time. So when you put subtitles in English, I'm telling you again, that I explain to my students that it's possible to learn with subtitles in English too. I'm not so that radical. But you got to challenge yourself. You have to remove it. Because in real life, you're not going to read anything. So you are going to go and understand what someone is saying using techniques, understand one word, the other one, link, and bang. But when you put the subtitles in English, what you do basically, you focus on the reading. Sometimes you even neglect the listening. You forget about the listening because you're reading. And your main focus is going to be on the reading than the listening. So this is the idea. Oh, you're saying that you should not read anything? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you can read and learn. If you have like audio books that you can read, listen simultaneously, it's fantastic. I'm not against that. But I'm telling you that you can really work on your listening more effectively. Obrigado por assistir esse vídeo. Não esqueça de curtir, compartilhar com seus amigos. Se foi útil para você, pode ser para seus amigos também. E ativar o sininho para mais atualizações. Te vejo no próximo vídeo.